of course, center where Temple with the early 2-point lead as we bring you in courtside. Matt Martucci, the coach, Mark Adams, and the bracketologist, Joe Lunardi, who apparently didn't get the blue coat memo here. But you had a busy day here in Philadelphia. You also double as a Philly basketball historian, and a bunch of different Philly teams in action today.
Hard to believe. 4 games, 4 gyms, 8 teams. The entirety of the Philadelphia Big Five. Mark, you tagged along.
Yep.
You and I had a game earlier, Matt. And if you like basketball, you have to love growing up in the city of Philadelphia. Look, made it to parts of 4 games today. This is the 4th. And who knew that you could go to college in this city, St. Joseph's in my case, and major in basketball. Look, a Hall of Famer, Herb McGee, the shot doctor, still going strong. 1,100 wins. Then my driver and I accidentally went for, the necessary cheesesteak, ran into a Hawks signee from Newman Goretti, one of the real great high school powers in town. Stopped at the Drexel LaSalle game just because, and look, a little courtside seat. Not bad. Who wouldn't want their picture with the bracketologist? Like everyone. And then this guy, Matt Martucci, good friend, great broadcaster, and we had, Matt, and I don't want to say unexpected, but really unexpectedly great game on ESPNU earlier this afternoon. Just another day in Philadelphia basketball.
So your favorite memory of today, witnessing some of that Philadelphia history of basketball?
I think it might have been the cheesesteak, but if you want to go basketball, certainly the comeback that St. Joseph's made, an enormous underdog for a rebuilding Hawk squad. Villanova, a 5-year run recently, arguably as powerful as any team in modern times. And they averaged 33 wins for 5 years. Think about that. They didn't lose back-to-back for 189 games. Like, that's unthinkable. So just a terrific day, and haven't had a chance to see Temple in person yet this season. They had a terrific showing down at the Orlando Invitational on our air and took Maryland to the wire. So I said, Temple fan tonight. Took number 3 to the wire. I said, well, if you win the game, then they're not number 3 anymore.
There's Tillman with the follow for Missouri to knock this game up at what's 4 apiece.
So, Joe, I live in Ohio, just north of Cincinnati, where Xavier and Cincinnati, the crosstown shootout is obviously a great rivalry.
Do we have a final?
Well, Cincinnati actually lost. Xavier won at home today. Now, so as a guy from Ohio, we've got a lot of fans here, from Missouri watching tonight. But Big Five basketball is different. For me, it's like Cincinnati, Xavier quadrupled. And you've got such a great basketball tradition. How did you get hooked on it? It's sort of a birthright in Philadelphia. And what are some of your greatest memories of those Big Five rivalries?
I think it starts, Mark, with the coaches. Literally a generation of Hall of Fame coaches.
Yeah.
We saw Herb McGee. He's from the generation with Dr. Jack Ramsey, Hall of Famer. Harry Litwack and John Chaney, Hall of Famers. Rolly Massimino, national champion. On and on and on. And the second generation, the likes for a long time here in the Big Five. Fran Dunphy here at Temple. Phil Martelli at St. Joseph's. Now Jay Wright, the dean of the local coaches. And the third generation is already in place with Aaron McKee here at Temple. Ashley Howard and Billy Lang at LaSalle and St. Joseph's, 2 guys who served on Jay Wright's staff. Everywhere you go, there are those kinds of connections. And I think there's just a shared passion for the game that goes all the way back to Wilt Chamberlain and extends far into the future.
I've never been to the Palestra. And there's a lot of people from the Midwest who have never been to the Palestra. Why is that such a sacred temple of college basketball?
First of all, more Division I schools have played there than any arena in the world. In part because it was the home court for all of the Big Five teams for, 35, 40 years. So you go, and it's a museum of college basketball. The concourse has all of the greats of the game, literally from Wilt Chamberlain to the president, all the great coaches and all the great media. So that those of us who think that basketball is a religious experience, that is the cathedral.
That's the cathedral.
Absolutely.
Right there. Favorite Big Five players of all time?
Well, I don't want to say all time because the Big Five is
Per school.
yeah, I'm going to go from my lifetime
That's
of
okay.
covering
That's
because,
all right.
you know, I didn't see Tom Gola.
Yep.
I didn't see Guy Rogers. But these five, one from each school, are ones I had not only the pleasure of covering, but getting to know individually. Mark Macon's here tonight, Temple great. And these guys, particularly the first guy on the list, Jameer Nelson and Jalen Brunson of Villanova, the only two players I've ever seen in college who could be the best player on the court and never take a shot.
Yeah.
Just appreciated and understood the game and what it took to win. There's Mark Macon, assisting Temple now, and
Legendary score.
He was
legendary score.
and he was John Chaney's not just coach on the court. He was his, you know, psychological extension. 2 Elite Eights, National Freshman of the Year. Just remarkable out of Saginaw, Michigan.
And Quentin Rose with another bucket for Temple to knot this one up at what's now 6 apiece.
So today you had Villanova and St. Joe's on radio, and I got to sit next to you two guys for a little while, and great job. I love the chemistry. It was really fun.
Faces
fun
for radio, wouldn't
to.
you say?
No question.
Yes.
You do. Now, Matt's a handsome young man, but you and me are in that
Thanks,
other category.
That's right.
You know? And so you talk about Jameer Nelson, who was one of the most physical guards to play in college. But today, we saw a guy that maybe the national media, a lot of people don't know about. Talk to us a little bit about Ryan Daly and why he's so different and special.
He just embraces the challenge, and in doing so, embraces contact. Kind of old school, really. Yeah. He gets fouled as much as any player I've ever seen, and he initiates contact offensively as much as anyone I've ever seen. It was just I mean, to score 30-plus points in a city game, your first Big Five game after transferring, it takes a lot of skill and want-to do that. And we all know what a great defensive tradition Jay Wright has at Villanova.
For those of you that have not seen Ryan Daly at St. Joe's, it's like if you had a bulldozer marry a Bradley tank, and you get Ryan Daly as a basketball player.
Just
at the guard position.
And just
he
so his mom
overwhelms you with his strength and will to get to the basket. He was amazing today. I mean, I'm up there tracking my third graders game. By the way, we won 28-12, St. Francis de Sales. So I got one Catholic game that I'm tracking, and I'm watching this Ryan Daly just motor by people and just make plays against arguably one of the best teams in the country in Villanova.
And Jake Forrester and Temple trailing by what's 2 early on.
Can you
Here on
stay,
North
John?
Broad Street.
Can you stay? There you go.